So I had an experience after seeing Amy Bruni speak, and I want to share it. So just a little bit of back story before I share my experience, though. Amy Bruni is a paranormal investigator, and I listened to her podcast, Haunted Road, on the recommendation of Aaron Mahnke's Lore podcast. I first heard Aaron Mahnke's Unobscured Season 1, all about Salem, years ago, and it was the most practical, logical, historical account, play by play, and it dug so deep, deeper than anything. Like, it was an entire season dedicated to just the Salem witch trial, so I highly recommend it. But everything that Aaron Mahnke does has this grounded, practical approach. It's not scare tactic. It's just, how can we learn from the past so we aren't doomed to repeat it? And how did it shape our culture and society today? And if we don't like something about the past, his podcasts always have a way of making you think of what we can do differently maybe now, and how we aren't that different and evolved from our ancestors. So I wanted to, when he recommended Haunted Road by Amy Bruni, I had to check it out because of his approach. I appreciate that grounded, realistic as you can be with lore and things like that. Then I would probably enjoy hers. And I do. Lore and Haunted Road are my two favorite podcasts. I was turned off by paranormal investigative shows years ago because I think we all know the ones where they're antagonistic. It's so rude. Like, if you're walking into some stranger's house and you start yelling and barking at them, or somebody who feels trapped somewhere, like, you don't know what's going on with them. Would you just start yelling at them and trying to start a fight or antagonize them? Like, why would you do that? I mean, I'm in Arizona. You did that, you'd get shot. Like, literally. So I am not the kind of person that really ascribes to those kinds of approaches just for the sake of ratings or attention. I think that there's better ways to get attention, healthy attention, too. So her approach is always, when I listen to the podcast, clearly very compassionate, logical, grounded, and always rules out all the other possibilities before saying anything could potentially be haunted. So when I saw her speak, she was exactly what I expected. Her approach, she was just no different than, I've seen some Kindred Spirits episodes now because my interest was piqued. But I hadn't when I saw her speak. And the night that I went to sleep, I had a dream that night. And what was interesting is something that, now that I've gone back and watched some of her TV shows on Kindred Spirits, a very clear pattern is, if there is something going on, it's usually not at all what you think it is. Our fear just gets us so hijacked that we want to make sense of something we don't understand. So quickly, we jump to conclusions that are 99% wrong. Shocking, I know, humans. So I went to sleep, and for years, I always had the sense that somebody would be around me that was familiar to me and trying to get my attention, but I would dismiss it because I never had some kind of paranormal experience that was so clear and cut and dry that I would ascribe much to it. But then in our apartment a year or two ago, I saw a shadow figure after my fiance noticed it. And we were not in the same room at the same time. I was in bed. He came into the room and he's like, "You're in here." And I said, "Yes." And I went out to the living room. He didn't tell me he didn't tell me at all what he experienced. He said, "I just didn't feel alone out there." And that's all he said. So I went out there and I literally saw a man, a shadow figure, as a male, with his head kind of stooped down, like he was sad. I felt this intense sadness. And I saw him just cross my path, and I spoke with him compassionately because he was clearly in pain and lost. And I burned some ethically sourced Palo Santo. um, and I just smudged it, and I spoke with him, and I opened the front door and invited him to, blessings, said prayer for him on his journey. I understood he was lost, but this was our home. And that was the only time that ever happened, but it definitely opened my eyes to the possibility of other things happening. And we had little things here and there, like a comb being thrown across the room and stuff. But usually if I have a conversation with something, then it usually takes care of it. And then I work somewhere now that's definitely haunted, and we all have experiences there. And it's an old house. We've just relaxed into the fact that we have coworkers that are just going to be there with us sometimes helping. So that opened me up more to the possibility. And also this sense, I took it a little more seriously. If I have a sense of something, then maybe there's something to that. So fast forward to the other night after seeing Amy Bruni, I slept and I was reminded of that sense that I had. And I thought it was some kind of an ex that was kind of bitter with me before he passed. And it wasn't, and I asked, because this person came to me. It was like an entity, and Amy Bruni's like presence was kind of there. I think because my subconscious just felt comfort knowing that somebody experienced could be there, even if it was just my subconscious needing her for reassurance, like a teddy bear or something. And it turned out to be my cousin. And I had a cousin who had chose to, for reasons I can wrap my mind around, sadly, chose to no longer be on this plane with us. And honestly, this cousin I hadn't seen since 1988. We were kids when I last saw him, and I didn't even really speak to him or anything. So he was not on my radar, basically. And that is such a consistent thing when you go back and, like, if you ever watch Kindred Spirits episodes, it's like so many times it's somebody that is not on your radar that's there. And that's why they're there. They want to be on your radar. And in this dream, it was so real. And that's a whole other topic, but I feel like people who have passed will come to you in dreams. And I feel like, if it's your subconscious needing that reassurance and manifesting their energy or something, and if it's them checking in on you. Because I feel like I know when there's a difference. And I was back and forth even while I was dreaming. Is that you, or am I manifesting you? Because he has not been on my radar at all. Sadly, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true. And I just told him that I got pushed, and I was like, you can't put your hands on me, like, do not touch me. And he didn't anymore. And I was getting up and I said, I'm sorry what you went through. Your entire life, you got the crap end of the stick over and over again. Life dealt you terrible hands, and we understand, and we all speak with you with love and compassion, and everything that was good about you is what we think about and remember now. I promise. I'm so sorry. And then I woke up, bam, like that. Like there was this sensation where the disconnect happened. Like we were merged and on the same realm, on the same plane. And then bam, it was over. The second I said I was sorry, and he was gone. And it was just like so jarring, but it felt good because it was maybe closure I didn't feel like I needed, but maybe it was him, and maybe he needed it. Maybe he needed somebody from the family that he trusted to be honest, because I am honest and direct, to tell him the truth. And I hope if that was him, that it did offer him some peace. But anyway, I just wanted to share these stories because I think they're really great, and be open to the fact that there are people out there that maybe if something's happening, it's because they need your help, and they're just trying to get your attention. And yes, it's scary because it's the unknown, but pause and breathe and maybe get some assistance.